So I've pretty much always stayed away from the Lavar Ball stuff because I'm just more interested in what's happening on the actual floor in the actual NBA. But I think this recent thing where Lavar is having Liangelo Ball as well as Lamelo Ball play overseas in Lithuania for a professional team. By the way, if I pronounce it Lithuania at any point in this video, my bad. I kind of caught that towards the end of this thing. And have them be head coached by a guy who is apparently pretty strict and also doesn't speak English. And to have these two young kids go in there, I think it's actually kind of interesting. So we might as well talk about it. Now, as far as I know, Lamelo Ball, who is younger than Liangelo, is the one who people think can be a real NBA player. And it's mainly because of his lights-out shooting, where apparently he's actually garnered some comparisons to like Steph Curry. He seems to be a good playmaker and a very good ball handler. And given that he's 6'3", 160 pounds, there's probably a decent chance that he's not done growing, given that he's not even 18 years old, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I could see the avenue for that type of guy being an NBA player. As far as Liangelo, I've heard that he's not really on NBA scouts' things. They're not really looking at him like that. That could potentially be a disservice to Lamelo, because first and foremost, like if I was going to send my 16, 17-year-old kid overseas instead of having them go through the, playing in college and all that, I would want them to go somewhere, number one, where the coach can just speak English, but I would also want to talk to a lot of NBA people, because I have to assume that they would care about what I have to say if my son is potentially going to be an NBA player one day, and I would talk to them because I'm sure they'd know a thing or two about like, okay, this is where you should probably send your son. This league is kind of like the comparison to where he'll actually have a chance to, if not play a lot of minutes, at least learn and develop and all that. And I mean, given that the head coach doesn't know English, I think that's something that Lavar Ball maybe should have spent more time caring about, because it seemed like he wanted to put both of these guys on the same team for, publicity and whatever else, when you might have been better off saying, all right, we're going to pick Lamelo because he's the one who's just better, and we're going to put you into a system that you can really become a real basketball player in, because if you're not going to do it through college, then you better be ready for the NBA through this stuff, you know what I mean? And it seems like he may have overlooked that because he wanted to put both of his sons on this team. Now, could that ultimately negatively affect Lamelo that Liangelo's on the team? I mean, not necessarily. It's not like he's going to be a worse player because of it. But I would hope that the situation is right for them, I guess. Just from a basketball standpoint, making sure that he's ready for the NBA and all that. So now if we move away from just that, and if we go to just the idea of a top prospect playing overseas rather than playing in America and going through college and all that, the guy that I immediately thought of was Brandon Jennings, who did this way back in like 2008, 2009, I believe it was, where he played overseas rather than going to college, and then he went to the NBA. And some interesting quotes that Brandon had when he said, I've gotten paid on time once this year. They treat me like I'm a little kid. They don't see me as a man. If you get on a good team, you might not play a lot. Some nights you'll play a lot. Some nights you won't play at all. That's just how it is. I mean, the playing and not playing part, that doesn't surprise me because, this is a professional league and Jennings was, 18, 19 years old, so I'm not shocked by that one. Also because, overseas, I mean, I don't know how the culture really is when it comes to basketball there, but, they might not be interested in playing a young kid who, well, actually, now that I think about it, they're not going to be interested in giving a lot of minutes to a young kid who they know is going to leave anyway. If it was a homegrown kid or whatever who they knew was going to be on their team for a long time, all right, then you do the whole give him minutes gradually so he can get better. But they really have no reason to play Lamelo or Liangelo a lot of minutes because, I have to assume that a 16 and 17-year-old are not going to be able to give you winning minutes on a pro league. I don't care if it's the NBA, overseas, whatever. You know what I mean? So there's a chance they're just not going to play a lot of minutes. Now, could that actually help them out? Potentially, because they'll get away from a lot of the publicity of America, and they won't have people kissing their ass all the time, is the best way to put it. And I don't know, maybe LeVar Ball thinks that that's the right way to go about it. I mean, Brandon Jennings also said, like, my role is to play defense and take open shots. That's it. And he did say that it helped him mature, which, I mean, hey, becoming more mature as a basketball player and as a person, that's definitely a positive thing for the NBA. But are Lamelo Ball and Liangelo Ball going to be ready to do that? You know? The thing is, there's a lot of unknown here, you know, because we're not in America, we don't know, or because we are in America and the situation they're going to is in Europe and Lithuania, you know, we don't know for a fact of all the personalities involved, their teammates, the coach, we know a little bit about. So there's definitely a lot of things that could go wrong, and it's going to take some push and pull on both sides, and hopefully everyone's ready for what's going to happen. I mean, if Lamelo and Liangelo expect themselves to just ball out once they get over there because they're American and they're going to be better than everybody else, I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Now, of course, another incentive to do this is that you get paid faster. I mean, Jennings, you know, like I said a minute ago or two, he said he only got paid on time like once. I mean, I don't know how big of a deal the money being a factor in this. I don't know. I've never talked to LeVar Ball. I probably never will. So, I don't know. It's another factor that should at least be considered when you're talking about this. And actually, another interesting thing I looked at here, because I'm reading quotes from NBA players who have played overseas, and Kyle Singler apparently did that. I didn't remember that, but he did. And he says that players need to lower their ego, because he says you're already stereotyped as an American that wants the ball, and you have to play as a team player first, and then once the season rolls along, you can start playing your game. I mean, is that going to cater to LaMelo's game? Because everything I read about LaMelo is he's kind of a showman on the floor with his passing and his shooting, and I mean, if you're going to get comparisons to Steph Curry, I think it's safe to say you like to take some jump shots off the dribble. And, you know, the guys overseas, they might see a couple of those and they might go, what the hell is this kid doing? Like, give me the damn ball. I've been in this league for 10 years. You just got here. Why are you shooting this shot? You know what I mean? So ultimately, it could go well, it could not go well. It's just going to depend on the personalities involved, everyone having realistic expectations, and, I mean, there's a chance this could go really well, you know? Maybe LaMelo Ball, you know, gains the maturity, and he really learns how to play in big game situations and all that, and say the same thing for Liangelo. If it feels like I've been focusing a little bit more on LaMelo this video, that's because it's kind of intentional, just because, like I said before, it seems like he's the NBA prospect here. But, you know, good luck to both of them. Hopefully this is more of like an actual decision more than a publicity stunt for LeVar Ball, and hopefully they really researched this. And, yeah, it could go bad, could go well. We'll just have to find out.